It's week number 4 of our Get Outside series. Today I'll introduce self-toss and a fun activity, Fungo golf. Our next hole, par 3, the basketball hoop. That gets us in that position so that now we can hit that baseball again in that strong. Players trying to coordinate both these movements, the toss and the lift and the step. That's not going to happen. I'm tossing it up, I'm stepping, and then I'm ready to hit that baseball as I get in. Hole number 1, you're up. All right, and now Parker's approach shot. Self-toss, or commonly referred to when coaches are hitting fungo, is the drill that we're going to introduce today. Self-toss looks like a pretty simple drill, but the best coaches, the best players that hit fungo make it look super easy. It's actually a pretty complex series of movements to ensure a good quality hit. So the reason why we're doing some self-toss today is that it has a lot of benefits. One, it's really good for hand-eye coordination. We have to coordinate tosses to be able to hit that ball in the good part of the bat, and if we get underneath it or on top of it, obviously it's going to create a lot of different swing and hit results. Another key for us on the self-toss is it really helps us with our swing plane. If we're dropping our bat right here, we're going to create a lot of balls that want to go up, or if we get choppy with our self-toss, it's going to create a lot of chopping ground balls, so we'll get that good quick feedback that way as well. Another thing it does is that it really helps to find a good solid contact position, so that when we're here, if we're throwing it too close to ourselves, we're going to have to do these kind of moves. If we're throwing it too far out in front, we're going to go reaching. We want to get to that point where we're hitting that ball, we're right in there at that good strong contact position for us to solidify those hits. Self-toss also helps us with establishing and understanding bat angles, right? If we lose the bat angle here, it's obviously going to get us in trouble, or vice versa. We need to be able to feel that barrel staying through that swing as we keep and maintain that bat angle through contact. Now, with all drills, self-toss is not a perfect drill. I wouldn't recommend doing it as your sole drill, but I'd also not recommend really doing any drill just by itself. You can overdo the tee, and the tee is great for mechanics like we talked about in our tee work stuff, but as with the tee, there's no timing involved, right? Critical part of the swing. Other players sometimes overdo overhand batting practice. That obviously is a tough way to work on our swing and adjusting our swing mechanics. I wouldn't only recommend that. I do think self-toss is a great drill because I do think it is underutilized, and it's a good way, like one of our major goal for our series, is to have our players get out there and do it by themselves. Self-toss is a great tool for that. For self-toss, there are a few keys to this drill's success. The first key we're going to talk about is our positioning. Obviously, if I'm trying to hit that ball as my target, right now my red square, I'm going to make sure I am square to the target to begin with. I see a lot of players when we start this, we get a little bit here thinking of hitting it, or here open. We got to make sure shoulders, hips are square so that it gives us an opportunity to go. Second piece of our positioning is I want our players to start with the bat at shoulder height. I see a lot of players trying to coordinate both these movements, the toss and the lift and the step. That's not going to happen, all right? So I want us to start here. No matter which hand we're starting with holding the baseball, the bat's got to be at shoulder height. The hand that's holding the ball needs to be down here so that then we can coordinate and throw that ball right here ready to go. The next key to self-toss is actually the toss. So with the bat starting at our shoulder height and the ball down here, the toss should go about somewhere between chest and eye height as it comes up to that position. I see a lot of players throw the ball way too high and then they try to time that, or the ball's thrown where there doesn't give them any chance to load up and hit it. That toss should come right up to about that height so that when they get to that position, that ball should be landing at about, if here's the front of my foot, that ball should be landing and hitting, you know, roughly a foot at that position right there in front of square where my bat is right now. That gets us in that position so that now we can hit that baseball again in that strong contact. And the last piece of the drill is the timing for the drill of self-toss. It is super important that as we're doing our toss here, that's when we're coordinating the step, so that then we can go into the swing. So that when I go here, I'm tossing it up, I'm stepping, and then I'm ready to hit that baseball as I get into the position. So for the drill, I think a good way for us to practice is, notice I prefer tossing it from my with my right hand going under my left, and that's just from the years of doing this, all the fungo hitting. But I want our players to practice both. I'm gonna guess that most players, if we're right-handed hitters, prefer to start with the bat in our right hand, and we're tossing it with the left. But I want everybody to work on doing both hands. So I want us to do 10, working, tossing it with our top hand, all right? And then I want to do 10 flipping with our bottom hand. Great drill. There's a lot of pieces going into this happening with our swing, and our players will really start to feel where strong contact needs to be, if anything's going on with their swing, any positioning, and we should be able to maintain a good, strong balance after we hit that baseball. All right, we found ourselves in the side yard to introduce our Fungo golf. I have my sons Parker and Reed here, who are on the #1 tee box, and they have called our first hole the flag hole, and they've called it a par 4. Before we get started, they're going to be using their bats and tennis balls. I do recommend tennis balls for our Fungo golf game because it's a safer way for everybody and everything as we play this. Other adjustments we can make with this as we play: we can use the tennis racket, still works, still good swing action. It does provide obviously a bigger surface area to allow some of our younger players to play. Another adjustment we can use large wiffles, we can use small wiffles. It really just becomes what space you have, what area you have to be able to play your game. But great game to be able to play. All right, so Parker, what ball are you playing?
Wilson.
All right, Reed, what ball are you playing?
Pin.
All right, so we got Wilson and Pin. I guess Parker has honors. He'll be hitting first. We're on the tee box on our flag hole, hole #1, par 4. Notice where Reed is standing on our front side of Parker. Our most dangerous position to stand is when Parker's doing his swing right there, standing directly behind him, because that's where the bat's going to come and get him from that position. So he's on his front side and slightly behind him. Obviously, we don't want to be on the path of the ball. All right, Parker, hole #1, you're up. All right, and now Reed is up. Nice hit. All right, we'll follow up to our balls and we'll play it out from there. We've come up to our second shots. Parker's up first. Again, Reed is off to the side where he's ready to go. Parker, you can go ahead and pick it up and hit your second shot. I would recommend all ages get out there and play, have some fun, be innovative, all as we work on our good self-toss drill. Now, typically how we play is if from your foot you can reach the target, then it counts. If you can't, then you have to either hit it or putt it within that radius of what you can reach. All right, Reed, you can't get there, so you can either putt it or pick it up and hit it a little bit more. Good. And I think that counts. All right, so Reed gets a 2. All right, Parker's hit his third. So that's how we will finish out the hole. We'll tally up our scores and see how we do. We'll continue our next hole where this is the tee box, and I'll let the boys decide what hole #2 is. We'll put it together and tally up our scores, see our 9-hole course. The boys are finishing up their 9-hole course. We're finishing up on hole #9, the rock. I've just tallied up their par. It's going to be 40 for this 9 holes. We'll tally up their scores after they're done. All right, Reed's approach shot going into the rock over there. All right, and now Parker's approach shot. Again, very fun game. Self-toss as they're working to finish up this hole. Great drill for us to work on our skills so that we can continue to improve in this time where we're kind of stuck at the house and unable to do many things. This activity took about 35 minutes for them to play 9 holes. Again, their scorecard, they can erase today's scores and put it in and redo it again tomorrow. Have a good one.